Good morning, investors. If you don't already know, my name is Scott. I'm with StockTraderPit, and today I'm going to create a video. I had a person request this analysis with my StockTraderPit Elite prediction system to see how it would perform and what it would say about a symbol for gold spot, the US dollar, the XAUUSD ticker. And today is April 13th. It's Monday. The market's really volatile. We have a war going on. And so this is interesting that this request came in. So I'm going to create this video to show what and how my indicator could help. So I'm going to start with this video showing this ticker XAUUSD. This is real-time data through my TradingView platform. And this is, again, with the StockTraderPit Elite Prediction System indicator. If you don't have TradingView, you can go to my website, StockTradersPit.com, and you can get a $15 discount by clicking the code on the homepage and getting TradingView. And if you want to try out my indicator after watching this video, you can go and download my indicator, and you can try it for 7 days for free. And after that, it's $39.95 a month. And I'm constantly updating it and putting new features in. So hopefully you'll enjoy this video as well as the information being shared in this video. I'm going to go through what it's actually showing and how to read this chart, and how I would be basing my decisions on whether to enter into this, or even when and how to enter and exit this position. So again, this is real-time data. I'm on the daily chart. My system will adjust based on the time frequencies of the chart. It'll change the algorithms and produce the best value you can. As I look at the screen right now on the daily chart, I have a supply zone at the top here in blue and a demand zone in the bottom. I have my volume down here, and I have this Zeerman range oscillator. I like it as a crutch. It's just a visual representation of what's going on. My indicator doesn't need that. It actually has its own range oscillator built into the system, and we'll take that into consideration as it's making predictions for labels and markers. So let me give you a walkthrough. You got the supply at the top, the demand at the bottom. Um, these two, as I said, are just crutches, so you get visual representation. I like seeing those. I have an info block over here that's telling you what's going on. This will change per candle at whatever time scale you're at. I have this area right here. As you can see, it's shaded in red. That's a fair value gap. It happens to be the bearish fair value gap. And this green one over here, all the way through, is a bullish fair value gap. So you've got those things to contend with. And the higher time scales, the yellow is an EMA and the gray is an EMA. The yellow happens to be from 5 minute to 1 day, happens to be the 21 EMA, and the gray, or what they call white here, from the 5 minute to the day, is the 50 EMA. And I found this to be the most beneficial for the algos to use, so that you don't get stopped out of a trade or alerted too often. And you'll see how that operates here in a second. The other thing I want to point your attention to is here. So right now, this is a prediction box, this gray area here. And in this prediction box, it's saying the target, the confidence level, the machine learning score, how many bars, and the ETA of when it might hit that number. And again, this is a neutral suggestion right now. It doesn't believe this is a good time to get in. only because I guess if you've traded enough, you probably realize that you're between supply and demand, you're between the two EMAs, you're between two fair value gaps. I mean, there's a lot of that could be going wrong here. So it's hard for it to predict on the daily which way it's going to go. The other thing I want to point out here on the chart is every day my system will generate new support and resistance levels based on the algorithms that I built in the system. And as the price action moves over those support and resistance zones, they'll be altered, showing like yesterday or Friday's close, the price action moved over the first resistance and second resistance lines, now becoming new support. So that's what you're seeing there. So this is now the daily chart. The market hasn't opened yet. It's 8:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what I want to do is the person that requested this wants to see the 5 minute. So I want to work my way down. If I was to consider getting into this, I might look at this and say, which way is this trending? Well, it's kind of trending down. Um, the range oscillator, like I said, down below is a crutch. This is showing that it's weak and potentially rolling over. I don't know if I would consider this to be a good setup. And but right now, let's see what might happen. So let's drill down in. The next time scale I would jump to would probably be the 1 hour. And so on the 1 hour, I went from the 1 day to the 1 hour. And let's see what 1 hour looks like, because on the 1 hour, it'll start to develop um, great entry, A plus entries and exits. If you take a look here, let me make this bigger. You'll notice that on Monday at 4 a.m., whoops, wrong candle, at 5 a.m. today, it said there's an A plus put coming in, and now you can actually see this prediction box starting to have more confidence that a put is in play. Now, how I'm going to interpret this for you is what I'm seeing is the price action moved below both EMA lines, and then there was a change of character here. So down here, you'll see that this potentially could have been a point where this price action could have decided to do one of these. And so the system said, wait a minute, we've got a wick on the top of the candle, a wick on the bottom of the candle, and there's potentially a change here. And as you can see, when it told you to take profits, it take profit isn't a time to exit. It could be. My system isn't designed to really tell you to take profits and where the best time to make money is. My system's designed to protect your capital. So here, if you put a put in and all of a sudden the price decided to take off, it's just warning you. Maybe you might want to take some of the positions off the table, take some profit. Maybe you might be cautious and wait and see what the next couple candles show. But the nice thing is with my system here, you can go in and create an alert based on any of the functions. So I want to say a call, a put, a trigger, a take profit trigger, an EMA exit, or an add signal are some of the labels that you'll see in my system. So you can create these alerts and be notified if those come into play, so you don't sit and stare at your screen. The other thing that I've had people ask me about, and I want to cover this, is if you noticed over here, at one point in time, the system back on April 9th, the Thursday, it said there's a 1% confidence level that the price is going up. And as you can see, it picked it off right here. The next two candles were going red. It didn't get nervous and tell you to get out. It actually still thought this was still a play, so it didn't tell you to take profit yet. But now up in here, it's starting to stretch from the EMA lines. And remember, we're at the 21 EMA and the 50 EMA at the 1 hour chart. And now it's saying, hey, be careful. And ironically, the next couple candles here and here um, started to look like it could again gone down. So was that wrong? Probably not. Was it something that you should have exited? Maybe not either. Maybe you decided to watch another candle, but at least you got alerted. So in this case, if I came into this and I got into the position here and I saw this going up, even if these candles didn't exist, even if these candles didn't exist here, I might wait because I'm still above my two EMAs. They're running parallel. We're above the demand zone. We're heading towards supply. We haven't gotten to supply yet. I might let this go and see what happens. So that's how I would watch my symbols, but the symbols are there and the labels are showing you there's potentially a change of character, a momentum shift, volume changes, whatever I've used when I calculated this, it's actually telling you be careful. Well, now if we were back in this call and it got into the supply, this might be an area where, again, you're going to use some caution. Could this have gone higher? It could have, but as typical fashion in the supply, people started taking profit and it started dropping. And if you didn't get out, you use your own judgment. If you didn't get out when you started to see this big red candle, um, you might have done that. My system said, no, let's stay in it, see what happens. Maybe it'll come down to the EMA and bounce and come up, which it did. Okay, you had another second chance to take profit in the supply zone. If you didn't do that, now this is where I want to explain this part to you. So here, this is saying the range oscillator flip. So on this candle, you can see down here that it dropped off pretty quickly. And it went from, let's say, 47.50. It dropped way down. And that um, big drop down to 46.75 or 46.70, let's say, somewhere in here was enough to trigger it and say, wait, we could be in for a big downfall. It hit in demand. Yes, it rebounded. But if you were in at 47.20.92 when it told you to, and it was a call, you're probably looking at me like this thing doesn't work because now I'm at 46.59.04. And this technically, if I was in a stock option trade, whatever, this number is less than that. That means I lost money. That's correct. You would have, if you waited until you got to this. This is telling you preserve your capital, get out, because it doesn't look good. And if you looked at this, you could see your call doesn't look like a good choice at this point. Preserve your capital, get out, take the loss, and that's why the exits there. The exits aren't always necessarily going to be higher or lower than your initial strike price or purchase price. They're there to protect your capital. So rather than hope that this is going to come back up and go over the 47.20 that you bought it at, it's saying, let's just wait for a better time. Just get out of this trade right now. So that's why the exit's there. And there'll be different exits. There's an RO flip, meaning range oscillator. Do you have to exit? No. A range oscillator flip means, hey, it just flipped down here, and this is the visual representation of a range oscillator. And again, I give credit to the Zierman. I think it's a great range oscillator. It's showing the behind the scenes of what my system's doing, and it helps out people. So anyway, if you add that to it, this is a free oscillator, and you can see. But here, as you can see, did you have to exit? Well, no, it dropped down in demand. You would want to hope that it doesn't drop further and it's going to come back up, and it did. And you might have had a chance to get a small profit out of this trade. But if you didn't, on the 1 hour chart, it's now telling you that potentially a put is the way to go now. So now you get this on the 1 hour chart, put symbol. And as you come down again, I showed you at the 1 day, you get this take profit. Again, could this go up? Yes. Could it go down? Yes. You don't really know. The system does its best to predict that. And right now you can see here on the hour, it still says manage your put. You should be in a put. The trend is bearish. You're below your EMAs. You're above VWAP. And there's no fresh liquidity sweeps. So we haven't seen a liquidity sweep label yet. On the 1 hour, they don't show up. They only show up on the 5-minute and 1-minute charts. You'll see liquidity sweeps. So if you want to know what a liquidity sweep, go look it up. But basically, it's in a nutshell, it's institutions trying to trigger stop losses and get people out of their positions so they can pick up more shares at a better price. So here's the 1 hour. It's saying at this point on the 1 hour, it should keep going down. Now let's drop down to the 5-minute that the person asked for. And so the person that requested this symbol to be reviewed was over the weekend, and now it's Monday. The market hasn't opened yet, but could they be trading this gold? Yeah. And so I might be a little late to help them out, but let me show you what this is showing now. So we're on the 5-minute chart. This is real time, and what I see, again, as I told you before, I have it. Now this is the 50 EMA, and this is the 21 EMA, which my system uses. We are in a potential put position. It's at 99%. The machine learning is on the fence right now because this has kind of been going sideways. It doesn't make a prediction either way. The machine learning, but my system's a hybrid system. So it's actually looking at KNN, Lorentzian, machine learning, as well as a lot of the fundamentals in trading, be weighing in supply, demand, where's the pricing relative to those, where's the pricing relative to the EMAs, and where is the volume down here, what's the volume doing, the momentum of the EMA lines, are they trending up, trending down, what's the slope. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I've built into it. So it doesn't just take any one thing. It's a hybrid system. And you can see here as we're staring at this on the 5-minute chart, the candles are still updating and they're going down. The LSs are liquidity sweeps. As you can see, it's a big candle. The bulls tried to push it up. The bears pushed it back down. And we're getting back now into the demand zone. Again, if you don't know how to read charts, this is like a little crutch telling you what the chart is telling you. And it's still showing it's bearish. It's below EMA lines. It's below VWAP. No fresh liquidity sweeps. It's saying there's a potential call coming in. So if you want to get your orders ready, typically in a demand area, you might see this bounce back up. Again, I'm going to describe these things here. You have a big red fair value gap from the bears, and you can see, just so people understand how the system figured that out, let me zoom into here and make this a little larger. You can see this wick right here, and it ended there. You see that? And then this wick down here started here. So what happened between that? It looks like a full body candle, but actually the price dropped really quickly down to here, and then it started here. So there's this gap, and then the green, you can see the wick here and the wick here, and that body formed that green bullish fair value gap. So those will act as support and resistance depending where the price action is. So here's your 5-minute chart that you asked for, and this is showing you that this price action of gold should be going down today. VWAP is way up here. My VWAP that I use is it changes. So this is anchored VWAP on the 5-minute to 1 day. If I were to go to the 1 minute, it's actually regular VWAP, not anchored, and it will be based on the candles that are showing. On the 1 minute chart, if you wanted to run the 1 minute chart, you could. 1 minute, there's a lot of maybe over trading that happens in the 1 minute chart. You can see here there's a call, hit supply, started coming back down, got you back into a put, potentially a reversal. Let's take a profit on the put, but I probably wouldn't have gotten out on that take profit symbol. I probably would have hung in there and waiting for one more candle, and good thing, because, and I would have stayed in. Here's why. I see the EMA. I got into a put. It's only one more candle. Could have been a head fake. Where that finished up right about where the EMA is, and we are leaving the supply zone, so it potentially had a chance to come back down. if this occurrence would have happened closer, if this occurrence for take profit would have happened closer to demand, I might have gotten out. The other thing I don't know is if I were to go and do a replay, what actually triggered that. Maybe there was supply right there. So let's see what happens. Um, maybe the supply and demand were really tight right there. So let's see if this regenerates. Typically, once this is had a chance to read everything, um, it'll be really quick. You can see it's still loading. Once it's loaded, you can actually trade real time and you won't have these delays. But because it's recalculating, because I hit the replay button, it takes a couple seconds to get rolling. Once it does, it'll start to show you. So yeah, it was saying to take profit probably because it was watching the oscillator, which again, I'm using my own oscillator. We have a larger volume from the bears. It got down to the 50 EMA, potentially going down, but it could have also gone back up. So the take profit came in, and it didn't have to be taken. Again, I probably would have stayed into that position to wait and see a couple more candles. Um, but that's what the symbols were showing you at the moment. So I'm not sure if this is helpful, um, but I wanted to create this video to show what is going on, again with XAUUSD on 413, and uh, good luck today if you're gonna, watch this and pick up some gold, and be careful. The market's really volatile today, but if you want to try out this, go ahead and go to StockTradersPit.com, go to the services, and you can uh, look at my indicator and request a 7-day trial, and I'll get it activated for you. You can add it to your chart. If you need help getting it set up, you can reach out to me and I will help you configure your TradingView account as well as my indicator. One thing I wanted to show you before I leave and before I get you to hit the like and subscribe button, but just to give you an idea of the settings. If you don't like where these labels are appearing, or you don't like the fact that I'm more cautious in having my exit labels appear, there's a lot of settings in here to change this how you would prefer to trade. My open range breakout, my preference is to wait 15 minutes with a one candle confirmation. Other people might want to trade immediately and not have that, not wait. Um, I also built these optimization modes in here. So right now with this button clicked, sync with optimization to chart timeframes, I don't have to come in here and change all these values and pick the optimization mode that I want. It's actually predefined. For you. So if you change your time scales, you notice how the labels changed before from bigger ones to smaller ones. It's because this was checked. If you decide you want to uncheck this and have control over how fast or the types of calculations that go into the algorithms that generate the labels, you can go and turn this off. You can change this to my pre-defaults, or you can do custom. And again, what VWAP mode do you want? Auto? Do you want it by the session? You can come down here and you can change your variables for, how many days do you want to have, or what your RSI length is, or what your ATR length is. And you can play around with this and customize this to be what you need or would prefer to give you the most desired results. So if you wanted to come through here, you can set it up so that the exits fire sooner or later if you're more risk averse or risk tolerant on your trading. Here is the ORB settings that I prefer. Again, my machine learning calculations, how many samples do you take? This is all baked in, and if you choose those pre-defaults at the top, it will change all these based on what I think are the best and how I would trade, but not necessarily how you might want to trade. So you have the ability to change. Here's all the range oscillators settings that you can play around with. So I give a lot of flexibility into the system to go ahead. You can show your supply and demand zones. You can take things out. You can show your levels, your support and resistance levels. There's all different kinds of settings in here, as well as you can adjust the styles. You want to show it below, above, the line trend colors. So you have that, as well as you can also, add other indicators on top. Let's say you wanted to have